Hi, everyone.
Hi.
I'm so excited to see your face again, Nicole. I was, as people were, signing on to take the course and stuff, I was like, oh, yes. And I love to get to see y'all's face more than once, It's like I already know you. Hi, Gabby.
Hi.
When do,
Hi.
when do you move in?
Well, we close Friday and we'll move somewhere like mid-February.
So maybe the week of Valentine's Day.
Maybe so. I can't believe it.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, how is Florida?
It's good. We're cold right now via Florida terms, not via y'all's terms in Texas, but in Florida, it's chilly right now.
It's a little chilly. I'm going to admit I do have some big house slippers on right now. I'm cute from the top to half up, right? Elaine's logging on. Hi, Leanne.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How are you? I love your background. You got that's a cool office. What's that little, is that a TV up there or is that just another computer screen?
Just another monitor. My husband has like his command station.
Yeah.
All the different things. Yeah.
We all need that.
Yeah.
That's the ante. Okay, so hold on, let me see. Leanne, Nicole, Gabby, Amy. Is Amy here yet?
Cold today. It's my son's laptop because my camera wasn't working on my computer. So
Okay.
maybe, but I'm cold today.
Okay. Do me a favor on yours. Click the three dots in the top right hand corner of your little square and rename yourself.
Let's see here.
Rename yourself Amy. Okay. Hi, Elaine.
Hello.
See what I'm talking about, Amy?
I'm calling my son to come. His is different. I'm gonna call my son to come change it.
Okay. Patrick has entered the room. Oh, is that your son, Elaine?
Yes.
Oh, I have a friend named Patrick. I'm like, how did Patrick get the link?
He's your new friend.
Yay, good. I can't wait to meet him. Okay, so I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 with Patrick. And okay, so we have Lisa Beth is out for today, but she'll be joining us for every other one. She just couldn't make today. And it's another Lisa, not Lisa Smith. So Lisa is the only one I didn't say hi to, I think. And then put a gallery. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Sorry, there was 2 of y'all, and Eka didn't. I guess she thought she had sent it or something like that. So I apologize that you didn't get that.
Oh, no worries.
I want to first start by saying thank you for being here. I'm very excited. I've got all my notes. But what we're going to do first is I'm just going to kind of say good morning. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself one by one. If you can turn your screen on, it makes for a much better 1 hour class so that we can, interact. If you can't do that, that's totally fine. I understand. But first things first, I'm Brooklyn. I've met every one of y'all except for Patrick. I do want to tell you that your bonus Facebook basics, it's just 4 little videos, not too big of a deal. But I like for people to have that foundation, and maybe, go over some of the more obvious things or things that weren't so obvious so that we're all kind of, on the same page. But for today, if you haven't watched those yet, it's not a big deal. You have another week to do it. It's about 25 minutes. And for the most part, a lot of them are something you could just listen to and understand. Some of them I share my screen and stuff like that. I own a business called Brooklyn's Bungalow. I think it's important to tell y'all that I started off painting furniture in my garage on a $10 dresser. And where I am today is very different than where I thought I would be. But the one thing I've learned is your know-how to show up for yourself online is the most valuable thing that you have. The thing that you sell, the that you provide, the craft that you make, all of that is subject to change and evolve. some of y'all aren't really landed on your idea yet, and that's fine. And that just goes to show you that if you know how to sell whatever it is that you have the idea to sell, that's all you need. You need to be able to be visible online and outshine your competition. And every one of y'all are in industries that are crowded. I mean, I am too. I'm a social media coach, right? So I have a venue for like parties and photography. So I have to keep on top of things by outshining my competition. And that is foremost what I'm going to teach you to do in whatever it is that you sell now, whatever product or service you provide to your clients, and whatever product or service you're going to evolve or pivot to later, because we are all going to change and evolve and grow and open new stores in Van Alstyne or wherever that is. Patrick, I think I'm remembering correctly, but I could be wrong. So just know that this is applicable to everything. And we're going to start with some psychology behind why people do what they do. And I believe that if I tell you why, it better helps you to internalize all the how later. So let's get started. I'm Brooklyn Calloway, and I'm going to share my screen really quick and ask you to tell me what your name is, what you do for a living, and why you're here. So let me move this to gallery view, present my little presentation. And okay, Den in a Day Facebook Elite. One thing I do want to go back and tell you about this. Den in a Day was it evolved over time. It was how I was marketing myself. And then people were like, well, how are you successful? How do you have 3 booths and keep up with all that? And I said, well, I get all my marketing done in a day. That's what I used to say. I'll be like, I do all my marketing at the beginning of the month. And so I'm done in a day. Well, it took me 6 years to actually name it Done in a Day, because that simple stuff tends to escape me. But I realized that Facebook was what I was really studying. And here's why. Facebook was the OG. Anytime Twitter comes along or TikTok or Instagram or Reels or whatever, Facebook answers that call. Anytime there's a third-party scheduling app, Facebook's like, well, oh no, I'm going to put a scheduling app inside of our platform. So if you learn Facebook and how to do stories and reels and posts, you can pretty much apply that knowledge to any other platform, including LinkedIn and Pinterest, Snapchat even. They're all a little bit different on how they present. So that changes how you come across in your content, but the crux of what you're posting doesn't change at all. So anyways, Done in a Day Facebook Elite became a face-to-face class. From there, from the face-to-face class, it developed into a like a Zoom call kind of thing on Skype. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I have to write this down. So I finally learned how to do an e-course a couple years ago and put it in e-course format. What I found was a lot of people weren't actually taking the course, they were just buying it. And so I created this level of support so that it's the coaching and me talking to y'all one-on-one, plus access to the e-course, so you can go back and rewind me and watch the e-course later. I liken it to reading the book and watching the movie. You get a little bit of info from both, and they're both good. So anyways, and then of course the Elite is just because it's a small group of people that I coach one-on-one, or a small group. So here we go. All right, so now what I want y'all to do, and I'll go back from sharing my screen, if you will, put it on speaker view. That way when someone is speaking, y'all will see them talk. Let's start with Nicole Lynn. Who you are, what you do, even if you're not sure yet, or even if you are, and what brings you to this class.
All right, good morning, everyone. I am coming to you from Florida. My name is Nicole Lynn. And I used to live in Texas, and I was very active in the Frisco Chamber. And that's kind of how I heard of Brooklyn. We met once very briefly, and I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing. So I'm recreating myself again. In Texas, I was an organizer and a dog sitter, and I ended up becoming primarily a dog sitter, and it just grew from word of mouth, because I kept the dogs in my home, and I'm not doing that in Florida. I'm going to reclaim my weekends. We have 2 dogs of our own, and we're walking distance to the water, and 20 minutes to the beach. So that's kind of that in a nutshell. And I've renamed my business by Nicole Lynn, just so that when I kind of figure out exactly what I'm doing, it'll be easy to niche in there. This will be my probably 4th business name. I've always worked for myself primarily, and currently, well, what I aim to be doing, what I will be doing with the help of the kick and the tush and the accountability of this group, I will be blogging on a regular basis about organizing tips. Love to organize. It's therapy for me. Dog stuff, just because it's natural for me. And my wannabe gardening self. So AKA, let's keep more plants alive than we recycle. So that's kind of where I'm at, and we're going to see where it goes from there. And I recently was working virtual as a transaction coordinator for a realtor, and that has ended. So I am opening myself up to whatever happens.
Okay, I love that. Well, welcome. I hope that we can
Thank
help
you.
you kind of settle those cards and something sparks in you as far as what to land on. I will tell you and everyone else, we will need some sort of focus in order to apply the content and do your homework each week. And we'll talk about that later, but just kind of think about that while I'm talking today and while other people are saying what they do, because you might, it might shake something loose. All right, welcome. Let's go with Amy.
Good morning. My name's Amy Ratterman, and I'm in Frisco, Texas. And actually, Brooklyn, I forgot that I met you a long time ago. You did one of our National Charity League girls events. We were the ones who painted the signs that day in that big
Fire.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
at the Lincoln Experience Center. Those are some of my favorite pictures, by the way. I
Yeah,
love
a
that.
long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. I just remember seeing your email. I was looking back through your email and I saw that one through. I remembered. So yeah, it's good to see you again.
Wow, worlds colliding in multiple ways.
Yes, for sure.
Yes.
So I'm in Frisco. I've been a stay-at-home mom. I have 4 kids, so I've been a stay-at-home mom forever because my oldest one just went to college. My youngest one's 11, so I'm still pretty much a stay-at-home mom. And I do graphic design, and I've been doing jobs here and there, more, just smaller jobs I do from home.
Mhm.
And I also have an elf on the shelf kit business, and I do that in the winter. I make little kits for elves on the shelf, but that's obviously a seasonal thing. It makes pretty good money, but it's only for a little bit of the year. So I wanted to find something that can make money all year. So
Right.
I think what I'm going to focus in on are probably, I make these candy cakes, and I've seen people have pretty good success with those on Etsy, and they're a cake that's pretty much made out of like candies, and you decorate them, and people spend ridiculous amounts of money that I wouldn't spend on them, but people seem to spend money on them. So I think I'm going to start
Find that and do that. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And why are you here in the class?
I'm here because, well, I think I told you before that I was a marketing major years ago in college, but pretty much everything I learned back then doesn't apply anymore at all. And so I'm really bad with social media. My kids make fun of me. So I need to get a lot better with Instagram and Snapchat, especially, and TikTok and Facebook, all of it. I post for fun, for my family, but I don't post anything useful, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. Which makes me also, I wrote a little note here that I forgot to tell y'all. While that people are talking, hover over the bottom on your chat. And if something resonates with you, say welcome, whatever, nice to meet you. But also when you're done speaking, if you would please put your Instagram into the chat so we can all follow each other. We're going to get to know each other pretty well over the course of this month. So I think that that would be great if we could follow each other. All right.
Okay, I'm going to make that.
Welcome.
Next week, I'll put that in there.
If you don't have an Instagram, you can do Facebook or your website or something like that, but business related.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, that's the name of my business. I've changed my, well, I have my elf business will be separate. So this one's called Celebrating Fun. And I thought that could kind of be you're celebrating anything. You're celebrating birthdays or Christmas or anything. It's just celebrating. So it can pretty much hopefully bring any other ideas I have too besides just the candy cakes into the same business page. So
Okay. I love that. Celebrating fun. All right. Awesome. Okay. Claim that digital real estate, girlfriend. All right. Leanne, you are next.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Leanne, Leanne Edgar. I'm sorry, I've been sick we went to New Mexico for Christmas, got home, and I've been sick since like the 2 days after Christmas. So I finally feel like I'm like alive. So bear with the
Look
voice.
great.
Well, thank you. This is like day one of actually like doing something with myself. So anyway. Yeah, so my name is Leanne, and my husband and I, we run a roofing company. He does the grunt work. I do the behind the scenes work, and part of the behind the scenes work would be social media, but I'm clueless. So that's one part of my job that I don't do very efficiently. I pretty active like on my personal Facebook page, but not as active on the business page. And actually, I was telling Brooklyn last night, I was trying to do like the insights thing, and it won't even give me insights on my page because I haven't posted in so long. So like, that's how bad it is. As far as, and I also myself, I'm also a bodybuilding coach. My background is in personal training, and I've done it full time, a good bit of my adult life. But about 4 years ago, we moved to Frisco, and I left my clients behind from the town we moved from and moved to Frisco, and I joined in the roofing business. And I've been pretty much just doing that until the last 6 months or so. I started getting my feet wet again into personal training, more of a focus on bodybuilding coaching, because that's something that I do as a sport. And so I've learned a lot and want to help other women to, if they want to, really push themselves to do like attain a really big goal. That's something that I like to work with them on. So I'm kind of trying to figure out, how to be more mindful and diligent and planned in posting for our roofing business. But I also kind of want to incorporate what I learned there, because that's what pays our bills, into my own business as well. So that's what I'm here for, because I'm clueless and I need help.
That's awesome. Yes.
I'm leaving.
I resonate with that, and there is nowhere to go but up. And
That's true.
yeah, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
I coached someone this summer in one of these sessions, and her insights didn't register until after she had 100 followers. What can you tell me? I mean, I'm going to find this out later, but I just have a squirrel question. Do you have 100 followers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then it was just inactivity. Got it. No.
So there was a time, I guess pre-COVID really, where I was really active on that business page, and I posted pretty much every roof build we did, and I had people commenting, and I was sharing on my personal page. And we had every customer that we had, I would write them a thank you card and say, here's our Facebook, please go on and like it, share with your friends, that sort of thing. But then when COVID hit and we all kind of ended up at home, and I kind of got out of that, and I never really found my way back into it. So there was a time where my page was pretty active, and I was, not that I really knew what I was doing. I really just posted every time we built a roof, I posted. Right. And so it was several times a week sometimes, but I'm just really out of it, and I really want a plan.
Right.
So yeah.
That is what this is. Check,
Good.
check.
Check. Thank you.
Welcome, Leanne. Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Smith. I have, so what is it, background?
Who you are, check. What you do, not check. And 3, why you're here.
Okay, so what I do, I've been sewing since about 2004. I was hand piecing quilts because I was in the hospital a lot, so it really gave me something to do other than just watch TV and be dumb on my iPad. And one of my aunt quilts, and my grandma quilted as well. My dad is actually the one who taught me how to sew, which I thought is kind of ironic because men don't do that.
That's a part of your story. Yes.
So I do that. And then I got married in August of this year. And so I bought a Cricut at the beginning of the year to make all my decorations and all my signs and all the things that I wanted to do for my wedding, because I'm very hands-on and very crafty and very, I have a lot of ideas that just kind of rumble around in my head that I never actually put out there. So I am now trying to take my love of sewing and my love of crafting and kind of mesh them together. And after talking with Brookie Lynn, I've gotten kind of niche down to heirloom dresses. I had a lady reach out on Facebook. I'm in Prosper, and we have a Prosper Moms page, and that's pretty much all that people post about is recommendations for who can do this and that and whatever. And this lady reached out to ask who can make her some baby dresses, and I was like, let me give it a try. I've never done it, but she had old shirts from her dad, and she's now her daughter's having a baby, so she's gonna be a grandma. So she gave me the shirts, I made dresses, and I had so much fun doing it. And then one of my cousin's mother-in-laws lives out on the West Coast, and she does these repurposed denim jackets, jean jackets, just basic jean jackets. And then she'll zhuzh them up with like rock and roll shirts and, basically bedazzle them in a new funky kind of modern way, which they're awesome. And I think they're incredible. So that's kind of something I'm going to kind of try to work into the Prosper Moms thing. So for high schools and sports and all that fun stuff. And the reason I'm here in this page or in this group is because, like everybody else, I suck at social media. I pretty much only have a Facebook page. I have everything else, but I don't use them. One, because I have a 14-year-old daughter, and she always makes fun of me, like, you don't need to be on Instagram, you don't need to be on TikTok, you don't need to be. And so I kind of just don't do it. And I suck at Facebook as it is. I barely post. I just people say post photos when you go here and there, and I just post a bunch of photos. And my insights page basically says not enough whatever data, not enough data to do anything. So
You're at 0.
yes, but I mean, I have 140 followers, but I've only posted like, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, because I also did a bunch of projects over Christmas, but I didn't want to post them just in case the people that were getting the projects were on there looking, and they were like, oh, that's so cute, that looks like something that's for me. And I'm no, can't.
Make those here in a file folder so that you can market them. And they were last year's gifts, but that's your marketing material. That's your bank account for next year. Save them in a folder and call them Christmas 2022.
Okay.
That's what you need to do while you're just like, drinking your coffee or watching Housewives. Just put them in a folder. Okay. Welcome, Lisa. I'm glad you're here. And I feel like, gosh, y'all are going to just, first of all, just get ready, because this is like drinking from a fire hose. But remember, you have the e-course to go back, little 2 to 3 minute videos. And also, please remember that you're going to get a replay of today in your inbox sometime in the next 24 hours. Okay. So you can replay this, and you will actually have an amazing e-course that I made several years ago that is completely up to date and just went through a big revision, and you're going to love it. So don't feel like you have to absorb it all. Don't get overwhelmed, but you're going to learn so much. I'm so excited. Elaine, it is your turn.
All right, I'll put on my video here.
Oh, yay. There you are. Yes.
I was also sick over the holidays, just like one of the other respondents here. So yeah, I'm not all that put together, but this is my workspace. I have 4 jobs. I run 4 companies, and I've done a lot. My background is that I am a project manager. I'm a certified project manager, and that's called a PMP professional. It's like being a CPA. I've done major projects for like BP, GE, NASA, the NNSA, the DoD, DOE, and so that was my. That's not a business; it's a service-oriented business where you're selling a service. And I've been doing that since 2010, so long time. I've been working for myself, And before that, I was a consultant for Oracle. And so I took all of that is really well and good, but I was touching a client for a while, making them happy, and making some friends, and then walking away. So every 3 months, I'd have a whole new social life and a whole new. I never kept long-term relationships, and I kind of started realizing that is, while I really feel like I'm doing a whole lot for. Oh, that's funny, Lisa. You and I connected on a lot of levels there. I'm on my phone because I have all my other computers connected to other things, so I apologize. But that means that I decided I needed some more people relationship kind of things in my life. I felt that was missing, and I decided I was going to open a cruise ship travel agency. I was going to open up that. So we went through all the franchising, went through all the final papers. In the meantime, I had decided I was going to do some project management for some nonprofits because I felt like, I'm a Christian and I wanted to kind of use my skills in a missionary way. And so I gathered up a bunch of guys, and 2 of them lived in Hawaii. So we just went to Hawaii and had a meeting, and it was a great meeting and everything. But then we found out that the people that were behind the money were actually crooked. And when I found that out, I saved everybody from really going down a bad path. But we've made some great relationships in that. And one of them, the guy owned a coffee plantation in Kona, Hawaii. And I grew up on a coffee plantation in Nairobi, Kenya. And so it just seemed like coffee was, when I went on the farm, it felt like home. And I called my husband and I said, look, this cruise ship thing, I'm really into it. Are you? And he goes, yeah, but this coffee thing's really talking to me. And I said, okay, let's do coffee. So we switched gears last minute and opened a coffee roastery 7 years ago in McKinney. It's at Wilmeth and 5. We have a huge repurchase rate. We have huge fandom, but we're not growing. We get about 20% new people, 80% repeat business, but that 20%, we're barely covering the nut. Everything we do from here is profit. And so I want to do more from here. And then COVID just killed us. Even though we're essential, we were open.
Coffee is essential.
Yeah, coffee is essential. We were declared essential, so we stayed open, but we had to switch to curbside. We had to do a lot of things. And in the meantime, I had built, about 5 years ago, I built a coffee company, a coffee shop for a friend of mine, handed her the keys, and she runs 23 different convenience stores, and she didn't understand coffee. So she asked me during the pandemic to take it back on as our own coffee shop. And I'll let Patrick talk about that, because that's what he's going to kind of do it from that angle, and I'll do it from the roastery angle. And then the roastery is located in the warehouse, kind of offbeat. And so the other thing I want to do while I'm here is that the roastery needs to grow, number one, and the roastery provides coffee for the other 2 locations, and it's going to be a third other location very soon, because the flour mill in McKinney came to us and asked us to come in and do a coffee shop there. And at the same time, our goal was to increase our retail. We do a lot of wholesale, but we wanted to increase the retail. That's how we want to grow. And so we moved our retail into a gift shop and coffee museum. There's not a coffee museum, and I had a bunch of stuff in storage. It was real easy to do. So we opened a coffee museum in the old flour mill, which is a 107-year-old building. And it's just a gorgeous location, but we're the only ones there. So there's not a lot of traffic. So I need to drive interest, drive traffic, and tell them who we are. And our strategic goal for all our locations is to relate, educate, caffeinate. Relate, caffeinate.
Educate. Okay. I love this. Yes. I had that written down in your notes somewhere, but I love that you said that again. Perfect.
And someone mentioned that they had kind of a generational thing about social media where your kids are rolling your eyes every time you post. I have a communications degree, and I post what I think should be said, and I get groans from my son who's on this call all the time. So I think we need to identify which audiences and which messages for which channels, so that we can kind of, make an agreement there and then get our strategic plan, relate, educate, caffeinate into those appropriate messages for that channel.
Right.
That's fine here.
Amen. I love that. I love that. Remember, at the end of the day, no matter what you sell, who you're talking to, and what platform you end up choosing beyond Facebook, the most human company wins. That's it. Like, that is
Okay.
it. You got to show up and you got to show out as a human. If you're
Well-
more human, then you bring a sense of humanity to the brand. And when you bring that humanity, people have something in common. When they have something in common, they become ironclad customers, like your 80% repeats. So we're going to build that 20% and then also fold them into your repeats later. So yes, I love that. Love that. Okay.
One more, I didn't want to, I have an example for what you just said, and I didn't believe this. Patrick has been doing our social media, and he has a different take on it, and his is working. I've had to say, oh my gosh, okay, yes, I understand now what you mean, because over the holidays, in the last 6 weeks, we have paid 4 different prices for our green coffee. That's what it's called before you roast it. And the first one, it was $3.93 a pound. Then we paid $4.72 a pound, and I started freaking out. Last time we bought it, it was $6.25 a pound just before we cook it. That's your raw ingredients.
Mhm.
And so it has been over the holidays and over COVID and worldwide, it has been awful. The prices are just going off the book.
Right.
Patrick put out a very long post about, hey, we get it. We hate it too. We survived. We're here because of you. And we haven't raised prices in 4 years, but we're going to have to. And I expected a backlash and bad sales, and he did it during the holidays. And the way he spoke it and the way he did it was so personal. We had our sales just flew off the charts when that went out.
Yes. Amen. That is so
Perfect.
awesome.
Human
Yes.
and so relatable.
Right.
And
Right.
Miranda left.
Yeah, that is the key, and that is the perfect example. If you're just human, you will still win. That's all you got to do. Transparency is key. Wow. So welcome, Elaine. I am so excited you jumped in here. I was really hoping to help you eventually. Gabby, you are next. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So tell us your name, what you do, and why you're here. I will tell you we're about 7 minutes over time. So
Okay.
not to cut you off, just letting you know.
Yeah. I'll keep it short. I'm Gabby and I live in Frisco. We just recently we're buying a house, so that's very exciting. But I've been a stay-at-home mom. My kiddos, I have a 14-year-old and 10-year-old. And I've worked part-time jobs related to graphic design and then some office job administration. But I've always wanted to have my own business and somehow related to a part of my life that's personal. So I lost my brother to suicide 10 years ago, and I've been trying to see how I can honor him basically in doing some kind of business. So I've really been inspired kind of by Tiff Streets and the service of kind of immediate, you think of somebody, you go online and they get, cookies the same day or the next day. I kind of wanted to replicate that. And so I came up with Uplift, which was a box with kind of curated products that were uplifting in case somebody wanted to send somebody a box. So it turned, it started with COVID actually. And so it was very COVID oriented. I had a box that was called You Are Essential. And that one, I sold a lot of them, but then I kind of branched out too much into trying to do a box for not feeling well, a box for this, a box for this. And I have no clue how to run a business. I don't know how to have inventory. I don't know anything. So it became a little too much. And what I really want to focus on is I do want to start my blog. I did pay somebody to do my website, and that is all set up ready for me to go ahead and do it. I just haven't. So my idea is to have the blog and then have, you know, maybe narrow my boxes down to 1 or 2, and just make it like thinking of you, or, you know, that kind of thing, and more like mental health instead of broadening too much to like feeling sick, losing someone. I don't know. So
Okay, wait, I'm okay. I don't know if I'm intuitive or what, but the thing that came to me just now, and sorry, the coach in me is coming out and I will move on. You said you are essential was your original idea and you branched out too much. Go back to your original idea of YAE. And all I can think of is every time I tell someone, yay, you know, or, oh, I'm so excited. Well, YAE spells yay, but with an E, which is kind of different. But if it was yae.com, that is a 5-letter URL that is amazing. And I could totally see your brand being YAE exclamation point and telling people that you're essential, because your brother was essential and he didn't know that. Or that's the crux of what you think he was
yeah.
thinking and why you created this. So I love that. And you're here because you want help marketing your subscription box business or your box business that goes out to people to show them that they are essential to them.
Yes,
Got it.
correct.
Love
Yes.
that. Well, welcome, Gabby. I'm excited. I'm sorry I cut you off, but anyways, that's what I was just seeing in my head when we were talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Patrick, how are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
Nice to meet y'all as well. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. What's your name, what you do, and why you're here?
Yeah, so my name is Patrick. I'm with, if you heard Elaine earlier, she's the owner of our coffee company. I joined the company about a year after it started. I really just wanted to, I was just looking for something to do. My mom brought the company, so I quit my old job. I joined her, and then I was just thinking like, oh well, yeah, I'll package some coffee. I'll talk to people. That's what I do. Or I mean, I talked to people at my old job. I was like, I'll talk to people here too. So I didn't take it too seriously at first, but as time went on, I learned a lot more about how coffee has such a culture around it, and more about the industry. I've gone to so many different coffee conventions.
Patrick, are you cutting out, or is he cutting out for anybody else? Okay, all right. You're Patrick, you're cutting out a little bit, so we didn't hear most of what you said. Are you there? Okay, we are going to just come back for a second. He's hopping off. I'm going to come back on, but let's go ahead and get started with class. And Patrick, we will come back to you. Oh, wait, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I was on the wrong network.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, so basically you joined your mom's company. You learned about the culture, and now as far as social media, are you here to support her and kind of so that y'all are on the same page?
Yeah, mostly I started off just I needed to I did some social media stuff. I used to do film and I did a lot of writing. I wound up really falling in love with writing and screenplay writing. Whenever I did some courses in college, but I decided to drop out of college and focus on the company full time.
Right.
But now I'm doing so much of the day-to-day stuff. For me personally, I think I could do a great job with social media. I understand a good amount of it, but I just don't find the time to do it, and that's been my biggest struggle. So my goal is to make sure, like, hey, if I'm gonna do it, I need to find out the best plan. Executing it was really the hardest part for me. Is just making sure I have it all in my head, and I need to get it on paper and maybe even work with a team to try and get it executed. So that's my goal.
Well, I understand it 100%. I think that you and your mom both being on here is very smart. You're going to have all the PDFs. You're going to also have the digital versions of these PDFs. So if you are a digital person and like to just do everything from the computer, I got your solution. If you are a pencil and paper person, print these documents out once a month, fill them all out, staple them together, label it March or whatever, and just print them out again at the beginning of the month. And then you can file them away in a folder. And then you have all those notes for every month of the year. And you can go back, pull them out, and kind of not have to reinvent the wheel. So we'll talk about all that in the course of the class. But welcome everyone. I think we got to everyone. Is there anybody that didn't get to speak? I don't think so. Okay. All right. So module 1 is 1 hour long because first of all, this is all of our introductions, and this is laying the foundation basically for everything that's to come. I can definitely get done and through it in about 30 minutes. We'll probably run about 5 minutes over. I am going to stay online after this for 30 minutes for Q&A. So the Q&A will be based on what I've taught and not so much coaching as it is, coaching for your individual business, but more about reiterating or going back to things that you might not have understood or that I got through too quickly. I'm going to share my screen right here. And I'm just going to start in. So let's get started. What we're going to discuss is something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Maslow. JK5 is Jenna Kutcher. 7411 and the buy-in buckets are by a guy named Daniel Priestley. I talk a lot about marketing by design versus marketing by default. I believe that there are reasons for both of them. Default does not mean bad. It just means it needs to come second. Planning backwards, so starting with your goal, like what is your purpose? And then planning backwards from that using the worksheet, the focus and find. So the focus and find is what you had in your PDFs in your email, and then as well as the Jenna Kutcher 5, which were just the little stars, and your measuring stick. The measuring stick was literally, we just got the updates back last night. So I'm really excited about that. Let me keep going. We've already introduced ourselves, obviously. So I know that most of us, especially Elaine, because I'm also a communications major, have heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The biggest reason why I talk about this is because my word of the year in 2020 was pivot. And I had no idea in January what was coming in March, but pivoting is most certainly what the whole year was about. And I had no idea. And I'm sorry, everyone. I'm pretty sure that I manifested the whole pandemic accidentally. So I was going to talk about pivoting towards your passion and answering your calling. But then it was like God went and put on the brakes. Make sure you mute yourself. Yeah, thank you. Oh goodness. Okay, hold on. If there's a dog barking, then you are not muted. Just click mute. Okay. So anyways, what pivot ended up standing for was a little class that I did called Posting in Very Odd Times. That spells pivot. And so I made a whole course and I based it on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And if you noticed that you go through very odd times throughout the year, now being one of them. January tends to be, unless you're a health coach, Leanne, personal trainer, unless you're something to do with new year, new you, or maybe even my coaching program, I'm not really sure. January is a lull. Like it's just like a little dip in the market. And it's like, what do I do with this? Or that space between Christmas and New Year's, or the space between Christmas and when the kids go back to school. Those 2 weeks are just like, you just fester. Your hair gets greasy, you don't take showers. And I mean, not speaking from experience or anything. And you tend to just kind of walk around thinking, what am I supposed to do with this blank space in my calendar? But anyways, so we're going to talk about this, and I'm going to talk to you about it in terms of the Army's marketing campaign before and after 9/11. And this is something you will call upon in your brain when you find yourself posting in weird times. So before 9/11, the Army had this slogan, be all that you can be. And it was very self-actualization, the pinnacle of success. Everything that you want is here. Join the Army, be all that you can be. Then 9/11 happened and nobody cared about, being all that they could be. They just cared about, and when you're looking at this triangle, they cared about their safety and their shelter. We all looked up in the sky and we're like, oh, is that plane going to crash? What's that going to hit? Oh my gosh. And we just got so freaked out by what had happened that the whole world, or America really, was on this level of safety and shelter. And if you know about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, then you know you can only think one rung above where you're at. So Army switched from be all you could be, that was hitting the mark perfectly with their audience prior to 9/11, and they switched to Army of One after 9/11 because they wanted a sense of belongingness, like we're all in this together. So their whole motto changed from self-actualization down 2 rungs to belonging. That's also exactly what happened in quarantine. All of our belongingness was ripped from us. We could no longer go out to eat, go to grandma's house. We had to wave at people through the, window. And, I remember posing for pictures for a photographer that was doing a series on families in quarantine. So we, at our time, would go out on our porch and smile and wave, and we could not put makeup on. We had to come out exactly as we were in that minute. And that was like such a big deal because we were going to see somebody, right? So the same goes for, in a small scale, in those lulls between Christmas and New Year's and when kids go back, and things like July, and June, when literally nothing's happening, and January. So I always say the J months suck for business. And I haven't found anyone that hasn't, that has completely disagreed with that. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs allows you to kind of think about where everyone is as a whole, and then hit them where they're at with your marketing. So there you go. Jenna Kutcher 5 is about the most human company wins. So let me give you an example. I'm going to tell you about Jenna Kutcher first. Jenna Kutcher was a photographer. She was in corporate America, got a wild hair that she didn't want to climb the ladder and work for the man. She wanted to work for herself, and she was overworked, underpaid, exhausted, and stressed out, and underwhelmed by her paychecks. And so she got a camera off of Craigslist and became a photographer, but she had imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is something that we all struggle with. I am 8 years into my business, more successful than I've ever been. And I don't wake up in the morning and say, I have arrived or whatever. I get on this prior to, and I look at all of the notes that I've taken, and I'm like, why am I looking at notes? I've taught this class like 300 times. Well, because every time I get online, I too get nervous. Every time someone buys this or that, I wonder, am I gonna let them down? Am I gonna give them enough? Are they gonna be satisfied? We all wonder if we are enough, and we are. We definitely are. And we don't have to be anything other than ourselves to be enough. And so Jenna Kutcher, unbeknownst to her at the time, she had about 4, maybe 7,000 followers. I'm not really sure, but not very many, I mean, in the scheme of like super successful accounts, right? But I was following her, and she was talking a lot about infertility and body image, and her only family was her husband. And she would talk about macaroni and cheese and yoga pants. And I thought, how does she have all these followers and she's talking about these things? And being a GT English teacher and a communications major, I reverse engineered what she was doing. And I just talked about the 5 things that she was, presenting. And I started thinking, what are my 5 things? And so I came up with something kind of vulnerable. Then I talked about my family, which was bigger than hers at the time. And I talked about something I love, which is collecting old crap. And I talked about my Volkswagen bus. That was my macaroni and cheese, right? And so what I've noticed is everybody glommed onto her brand because they all said, oh my gosh, me too. I'm struggling with that. Or poor girl, don't even worry about it. Just believe and pray about it. And they'd come to her rescue when she would have a miscarriage or something and talk about it. Remember, she's a photographer talking about personal stuff on her business page. And she would do it in the context of the picture she was posting. So I say this because the most human company wins. When you reveal personal things about the people behind your brand, the people that support your brand have something in common with you. You give them the chance to bond with the humans, which then makes them support the business. And too often we leave that part out. I also like to call this your remarkable features. What makes you you? Every time we open our commercial kitchens that we're building right now, my husband has a lockbox on it. Okay. He's a realtor. And so he has a lot of extra of those. And you have to literally turn the little dial to the 5 digits that make the thing open and give you the keys every time. And that's how I liken your Jenna Kutcher 5. Your JK5 are 5 things, 5 numbers that are unique and that you have to do all the time to give you the keys to success, to open the damn door and let you in. And so when you find those 5 things, you need to ask yourself, what is something that I struggle with? Something that's vulnerable about me? Maybe 1 or 2 things. What are some hobbies or things that make you unique? I collect old stuff, old colorful stuff, specifically crewels, globes, and baby cash registers. That's gonna click at some point what I'm gonna do with those, but that's what I collect. I have 20 something of them. And that's very unique to me. And my followers, that might not resonate with them, but they might think, wow, where did she find all of those? And then share my account because I posted some, crazy picture. But anyways, you have to give your clients a way to have something in common with you, because that's the fastest way to grow your know, like, and trust factor. So let's move on to Daniel Priestley. 7411 formula is best explained by talking about my experience with my oldest in baseball. And so when he would be on a select team and we would travel ball, we would meet all these moms and dads, and then we'd be traveling with them, right? We didn't know them from Adam, but because we spent 7 hours in 4 locations and had 11 interactions with each of them in a very short amount of time, they went from acquaintances to friends really quickly. So your 7411 formula is basically the way that you move your followers into friend category. And you spend 7 hours of time in 4 different locations so that your followers can have 11 different interactions with you over time. That doesn't mean sit down and do a 7-hour live. That's not going to work. But what it does mean is your clients have to have interacted with you online or in person, or hopefully a combination of both, over 7 hours of time in 4 different locations and in 11 different interactions. That right there is what is necessary to move someone from this to this. Follower, to friend. And remember, when they're your friend, they have something in common with you, and they buy, tell, repeat, review. They do all the things we all want them to do. But when we give smarmy messages and we don't talk about the humanity, and we're just like sell, it doesn't build your 7-4-11. That's just like a one and done post. The 7 hours could be 7 hours could be over YouTube videos, Facebook Lives, trade shows, classes, courses, coffee shop interactions, personal training sessions, candy cake consults, quilt consults, all of those things. Gabby, you writing those letters that saying you are essential, that right there is one interaction, and the time they take it to read it is some of the time, and that is a location. You're arriving on their doorstep. So 4 different locations could be Instagram stories, Facebook post, YouTube, and a piece of mail. It could be, it doesn't matter. Location could be virtual or it could be physical, and a combination of both. 11 different interactions would be, the client reaching out to you, you talking them through it, and then delivering their candy cake. Those are 2 different interactions in 2 different locations. So you can see how this would build up naturally, but you also have to do it in a way that continues to move that needle. And you're constantly thinking, I'm building a relationship with them. These are my friends, and treating them like that. So this is one of my favorite topics, the buying buckets. All of these, by the way, are things that we will reference later on in the class. These buckets get bigger as far as your rate of return on this particular aspect of your business. So the first one is price. The second one is innovation. The third one is convenience. And the fourth one is relationships. So we have price, innovation, convenience, and relationships. Price, when you outprice your competition and your bag of coffee is, $12 a pound instead of 14 or whatever it is, that might get you some customers, but long term, it's not going to keep them there. Because if someone's looking for a bargain, they're going to find one somewhere else later. They're going to find a half off. They're going to find a clearance rack at TJ Maxx with some old coffee sitting on it. Also not speaking from experience. But what's going to happen is price is more like, when I'm going to Jamaica and I want to get some eyelashes installed, I go on Groupon. I'm like, okay, I'm going to find one, because those things are like $140 a pair. So I go on there, find a Groupon for $75, and I'm like, all right, I'm satisfied. I go to the little lady. She does my eyelashes. I leave, go to Jamaica. It's great. I look beautiful in my pictures. And I come home and I pick them off while I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. The price does not keep me going back for more. It just got me in the door that one time. Innovation is the next one. Innovation looks like this. My mother buys me crap like this WeatherTech cup phone, right? Okay, we all know it's WeatherTech just because of their marketing. But I have no idea, and I got to show you this. I have no idea where this little miniature tripod came from, and my mom doesn't either. But I got that for Christmas one year too. She doesn't care where the innovative product came from. She just cares that look at this thing. Isn't that cool? It's a whole stack of plugs. It's like a tower of plugs. And it doesn't matter if it's a strip or a tower, it's gonna mesmerize her, and she doesn't care where she got it. So every year we get new gadgets and we have no idea where they came from. So innovation gets people's attention, but doesn't keep them coming back. The third bucket is convenience. Jaden comes home from college and I'm like, ooh, I've got an adult kid here. I can make him do things. And so we were out of creamer and I said, Jaden, can you run to the store real quick and get us some half and half? And he's like, sure. Runs out the front door, down the steps, down Oak Street, takes a left on 7th and goes to the freaking gas station and buys like a $12 half gallon of half and half. He goes, sets it down. I go, Jaybird, I thought you were going to go to Walmart or something. And he was like, no, you said to run and get some milk. Whatever. He just wanted to get it done. It was convenient. Definitely, he's not going on Yelp to review the 7th Street gas station and tell how great they are and tell all his friends and repeat customer. That's not what kept him going back, right? Now, the last bucket, and again, goes back to most human company wins, is the relationship bucket. When you build a relationship with your clients, they come back over and over again. And I think that that's kind of like when people get to this elite class, oddly enough, in this group, none of y'all are repeats. But in my previous class, I had someone that had taken the e-course, and I say taken loosely. They had purchased it, okay? And they're like, well, I didn't do that. So they purchased this course. And then they're done with that. And guess what? Now they're in my one-on-one coaching. So because they believe in me and I believe in them, and we've done that 7-4-11 and more than that, that relationship, that person has referred so many people to me and continues to buy again. And whatever I like, ooh, look at this thing I have again. She's like, oh, I'll take that too. Ooh, I want 1 or 2. Let me get that for my mom also. It's just like, it's crazy because it's people supporting people, and it's no longer someone you selling and them buying. It becomes effortless. That's where I want to get y'all. So let me keep going here. How's everybody doing? Good still? Yes. Okay. So let's talk about marketing by design and not default. Marketing by design is when you literally design your plan, execute it, and then let it work on your behalf while you sleep. Default is when you are eating your lunch at Kava and you're like, wait. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. This bowl of salad looks so beautiful. Let me take a picture and put it on Instagram stories. That's like in the moment. Default is the in the moment stuff. Marketing by design is where you move the needle forward strategically. Okay. The most of y'all are marketing by default all the time. You're like, everything I do is a crapshoot that I came up with at the last minute, and maybe at the minute, then I posted it. I'm like, ooh, this is a great idea. Okay. Most of the people that come into this program are marketing by default, if they're marketing at all, which some are not. And there's some in here, which is totally fine. You first learn the things, then you do the things. And that is exactly the order that y'all are doing it right now. So it's not a problem. So just so you know, there is a difference. They are both important, but for the purposes of this class, we're going to talk a lot about the marketing by design, give you a plan and a template to follow that's replicatable every single month, every single year, for the rest of your life, no matter what it is that you do for a living. So let's talk about that worksheet you have. It is called your Focus and Find. Hold on. Mine is all written on because I had edited it, but the Focus and Find, do y'all have this printed? Okay, perfect. All right, so the Focus and Find is about mapping out your year with whatever your focus is so that you can find the content you want to use to market that product and find the audience to whom you want to speak. So your focus is either a product, a service, or an event in your business. That's like the long and short of it. Product, service, or event. I'm going to give you an example. I used to do trade show or not, I don't know, vintage market days. I don't really know what that's called. Kind of a craft fair or a vintage fair. And I had an event coming up, okay, in McKinney. And I had a really big booth and lots of 8-foot wall words and stuff. And so that was going to happen in a month. So all of my marketing leading up to that moment, I was planning backwards. What did I want to say? How did I want to say it? When did I want to schedule it? How often do I want to say it? The frequency, the timing, and the content. So I had this goal. My focus was Vintage Market Days. And so I was able to find the content. What was I bringing? Where was my booth? The behind the scenes to making it. What was my theme? What prices? Inspiration, pictures of my wall words on other people's walls, making them want to come to Vintage Market Days and get one, right? So it was very, very strategic. So that was my focus. And obviously my purpose was to get people there and, sell out my booth. So I combined that focus, which was an event that month, with my purpose. And I made a mission statement. My mission statement for that month was on a mission to take 25 selfies with my followers in my booth at my Vintage Market Days debut on May, blah, blah, blah. That was my mission statement. Notice it wasn't to sell out my booth. It was to drive 25 of my followers out to Myers Park in McKinney, wherever the heck they're coming from, and to navigate their way through the 350 booths and find me and take a selfie so I could post it on my social, tag them so they would share it too. And so it was more about, I knew the sales would come if my people showed up. So I was on a crusade. I was on a mission. And then guess what? My followers were like, ooh, we got to help her with her mission. I'm going to show up and I need to be one of those people taking a selfie with her. And I'm going to buy the biggest damn wall word she has. Or, oh my gosh, I need to tell my mom she was wanting a wall word. She's going to be there. We're both going to come. Mom, follow her. And so the mom took a picture and the sister took a picture and she took a picture. Bam, I'd taken 3 pictures with 3 people and they all bought stuff. So when you focus, you can find your audience. My audience were my followers, my existing followers, who I knew I had 7-4-11 them to death, and the relationship building and the Jenna Kutcher 5. I did all the things. So they loved me and I loved them. And they showed up for me and showed out and told everyone. And my Vintage Market Day, it was exhausting and I'll never do it again. And that was my last one. But I made a boatload of money. And I was so proud. And we went out for steaks and it was amazing. And I smelled like horse manure because it was in a horse barn, but I didn't care because I was just like, show me the money. So if you can focus, you can find. Now, with that being said, I was focused on the event, Vintage Market Days. Did my business melt away into oblivion over at the bungalow and nobody rent the bungalow at all? No. Just because I wasn't talking about it that month didn't mean that people didn't still see it. Every person that saw my posts and all the engagement I got fueled my page, and more people saw my page and they're like, what does she do? And they would, literally look me up and then stalk me. And then like, oh, I have a birthday coming up. I need to rent that bungalow. Oh my gosh, I'm a photographer. I didn't know she had that. So just because you niche down on a product, a service, or an event that's coming up doesn't mean you are no longer doing the other things. It means that you're able to now specifically talk about something that's going to reach your audience and find your audience at the same time. So that leads me to the measuring stick. Those were basically the lessons for today that you needed to know, right? And the measuring stick is something that you're going to fill out. Oh, wait, this is not the measuring stick. The measuring stick is something that you're going to fill out and complete. That is going to be your homework, as well as the focus and find. But the focus and find, I don't have a measuring stick. It's okay, because you know what it is, because you printed it out. I am going to actually pull that up. really quick, let me get out of here. Let me see where that is. Nope. Okay, so the measuring stick is a document that allows you to see your growth over time in quarterly chunks. The reason why I do it quarterly is because your fall quarter usually is a lot more dynamic than your winter quarter, right? And your spring quarter is more dynamic than your summer. So you're going to see that your your fall and your spring are like a lot of times or often very on fire. And then you go through lulls. So you literally do this 4 times a year. And so that's why I do it by quarter. Let me hop over here. Sorry, you get to see my email today. I'm going to go here. All right, so here's the measuring stick. Okay, so what I'm going to teach you to do is how to find these numbers. If you can't find these numbers, not a problem. Put 0, non-applicable, okay? You're at a place where you don't even have it. Totally fine. You'll put today's date when you started it, and then you're going to put right here January. You're going to print this out and write January, February, March. And as far as today's date, January 4th, 2022. If you don't want to put the specific date, just put the year there. That's totally fine. In your Facebook Basics, I think that you actually get an explanation of this. Can I get a nodding of the head if this is in your Facebook Basics? It is? Okay, so because we are 1 minute over where I said, I am going to quickly show you where this is. So write this down. You go to your Facebook page. Once you go to your Facebook page, which is Brooklyn's Bungalow for me, you're going to scroll down on the left-hand side and click Insights. So I'm at Brooklyn's Bungalow, not in Business Suite. The top of your left-hand side is your Business Suite. Scroll down to the word Insights below that. So Facebook page, Insights, and the next thing you're going to do is just at the top of that page, you're going to fill out all that information for January of 2022. So as soon as this pulls up. All right. So page views, 61%, page likes up 67%, page reach. And now I'm saying I'm up these percentages, but you're going to actually type in these numbers. Okay. 2875, your post engagement 450. I'm actually down 62%. So what that makes me do is have heart palpitations and makes me think, oh my gosh, I'm not asking enough call to actions. I'm not asking them to do anything on my post. I need to tell them to do something so my engagement goes back up. That's just a reminder to me that I forgot something. That is not a you're a horrible person thing. So none of this is anything but a pulse so that we know where to go. That's it. So that's where you find that information. Let me go back to the measuring stick, where was that? Okay, there you go. Pages to follow. Somebody asked me this actually in the Facebook Basics. Yeah, Nicole, the way that you, and I responded to you on there, but I'm going to address it here. The way that you find your pages to follow, which also is in the Facebook Basics module. So that Facebook Basics will help you fill this out. Because what I'm telling you right now is a little fast and furious. Pages to follow. This word actually, Joy is editing it to say pages to watch. Following indicates that you went and liked their page and you're following them. It's not the case. Pages to watch means that you're stalking them in the background, okay? Like a lion. Okay. So what I do, and let me show you mine. I go down here to the bottom, and here are the pages that I'm watching. Okay. So on Facebook, your Facebook page, insights, all the way to the bottom. That's how you access. You can add pages here. When you watch them, you can see that they have a purple bar over here. So I'm like, uh-oh, Pink Pineapple Studios, her purple bar is bigger than mine. That's nothing more than that. I come here and I like to make sure my purple bar is longer than any of my competitors. If you don't really know what it is that you want to do, then find other people that make candy cakes, find other organized bloggers, find other dog sitters, other gardeners, find pages of the people that do all the things that you want to do, different ones, and start watching them. So I'm going to go to Pink Pineapple Studios really quick. No post to show. So she has posted 0 times this week. I've posted 10. So whatever she posted last week got her a lot of love. So I'm going to go back, click on her, not from here, because it'll only show you her post this week. So Studio House, they're in McKinney. She posted once this week, and this was her post. Well, I've been following her for a couple of years now. So I was guessing that it would either be boudoir or newborn or maternity, because guess what? Nobody's taking family pictures right now. Nobody is doing holiday cards because that's done. That's past. But this girl posted a post 2 years ago in July, and her purple bar was shooting off the screen. I was like, oh, no. What did she do today in July that did that? That chick posted Christmas in July and rocked my world for the last 2 years. Because I was like, what? I have to get my Christmas trees out in July? But it made sense because I have to market to the photographer. The photographer then has to choose me, book space, market to their clients. Their clients then need to book from them, schedule an appointment, come in, get their pictures. The photographer has to edit them, send them back out. Then they need to go to Shutterfly, order their cards, then get the cards out. That's pretty much all the way back to the prior Christmas, if you ask me. So when she did Christmas in July, my business tripled that following year because I was like, I'm doing Christmas in July too. And I got so much business, but I was doing Christmas in October. I was completely missing the boat. And I would not have known that if I hadn't followed my competitors to know my ass from apple butter when it came to marketing a photography business. I can barely use my phone. So I have to follow my competitors. So you need to do that too. Find who your competitors are and stalk them like hell. All right. So your homework is to do the measuring stick. Your other homework is to take January, February, and March, okay, this quarter, and I want you to come up with what your focus is going to be. What is your focus? What product, service, or event are you going to focus on? And when you lay it out on this page, make it make sense, okay? If you are focused on, an event 1 month, then the next month you might want to focus on a specific service of customized stuff. They've already bought your pre-made things because they came to Vintage Market Days. So the next month, all those people that you made friends with because your 7-4-11 formula went up, those people are now going to get that wall word up, and other people are like, oh, I want one. Oh, my daughter's going to be born. Oh, can you make this? Can you make that? And so then you might want to advertise your custom stuff. So make it make sense. Plan the whole quarter by design so that we can market by design and get you some sales. And now let's go back here and finish up. Next week, let me make it big. Okay, so next week, we are going to be talking about my super secret formula that I'm going to tell you, EIEIO, which stands for entertain, inspire, educate, inform, and offer online. If you cover all of those bases in your marketing, you're not going to sound smarmy. You are going to be human. You're going to be able to infuse your humanity into your brand and into your posts that market by design, set it and forget it while you're sleeping. That way, when you have a great salad at Kava, then you can be like, oh, and your business isn't dependent upon your rando stories throughout the day or your flashes of brilliance on what you should post, because you actually have purpose and focus and direction. And then those things become easier to be creative with because you're no longer desperate because, oh my gosh, I finally found something I could say online. Hope it moves the needle forward for me for the last 6 months of not posting. You know, now you have an idea of what to do. So we are 15 minutes over. I'm going to stay on for about 15 minutes. And I'm not going to go over what we just talked about. I'm just going to let y'all, ask me questions if you have any.
I have one.
Nicole, yes.
Can you quickly name off the bullet points for purpose on the focus and find? Like I have focus as either a product, service, or event, but I don't have what the purpose clip note things.
So we will talk about purpose later on, more in depth. Purpose is more, it is equal to your goal. So for what purpose are you focused on this product? For instance, I know one of the people in my one-on-one coaching, she has a new catalog coming out, okay, with her multi-level marketing or direct sales company. There's a new catalog. So her focus is the items, the new arrivals, right? So it's more of a product line, okay? My friend Stephanie, and I call her, all y'all are going to be my friends. I mean, you already are, but my friend Stephanie, who took my class, she's a Young Living rep and she has a pretty good sized team. Her focus in August is the immunity support because the kids are going back to school. So a product, a service, or an event is your focus. The purpose is, what do you hope to achieve by that? So her purpose statement or her mission statement was to equip 20 moms in the month of August with the immunity support to keep their kids safe in the first semester of school. That was her mission. As far as a physical trainer or a personal trainer, Leanne, this is personal training could be your service, but let me tell you a purpose and a mission statement. I, Leanne, am on a mission to help 10 couples lose 100 pounds in the month of February. Couples, February, see how that goes together? It's kind of themed and it's kind of like sexy because they're couples. And it probably won't be very sexy if they're all sweating. I can just see my husband and I would be not sexy at all. But you're on a mission to help 10 couples lose 100 pounds in February. That sounds a lot less smarmy than sign up for my program. You know what I mean? And 10 couples are like, let's do this, baby. We can do it. Let's sign up. Where do we go? Where's the link? Give it to me. It's purposeful. So does that help? Okay. Questions? Anybody else? Y'all ready to go? Conquer your day? Do your homework? Okay, here's what's going to happen next. You're going to get an email with the replay of this. It's going to remind you about your homework. And then you'll get an email on Monday saying we have class tomorrow. Here are the documents. Print those out. And then you'll get a 30-minute reminder again. And then you'll get the replay after. So that's just what you can expect. It's 10 a.m. Central every Tuesday this month. If you can't make it, don't worry. Please send me emails if you have any questions. I will address them on the calls as well. And I really appreciate y'all. Yay. Okay, y'all have a great day. I'll see you next Tuesday for EIEIO. It's my favorite week, by the way. All right. Bye, you guys.
Thank you.